Do you ever think a tax is justified?
Well, certainly. Well, you know, certainly we need our tax base for education and for all the you know, our police and safety and military, so on and so forth. So certainly taxes have to be justified in some manner. The fact is how much and when is enough, and when do they have enough money, and how is it being used, and so on and so forth. So obviously taxes have to be a way of our you know, maintaining our country and maintaining our life.
Okay. And we'll start with Chris then, and then we'll go down. We'll go that way.
Oh,
We'll keep going down.
Okay.
Keep rotating through.
Yeah. Thank you for the question on taxes. As far as the tax issue goes, right now in Missouri, I do see that we are very challenged right now at the budget, and I applaud our legislature for taking the method of let's make sure we live within our means. This is not a good time, nor I think is there really ever a good time to vote for a tax increase. I think that we need to live within the means. I think the state legislature has done a great job at trimming the budget, making sure that our priorities are still in place, taking care of education as we're mandated by our Constitution, by our Department of Corrections, by mandates in the Constitution, and also by making sure that we have our necessities that we need. So I would not support any tax increase at this time until it is well proven, and I do believe that the opportunities for a tax increase must always be voted on by the public.
Back in October when I first got involved in this, I signed the Taxpayer Protection Pledge not to vote for any increases in taxes if I get elected to your state legislature. To answer the question though, taxes are obviously needed for us to be able to operate the government. The downside is we've started collecting taxes for the United States government to do things that are not included in Article 1, Section 8. And if they could limit the amount of income that they needed to generate to do the things that they're supposed to do under the Constitution, we wouldn't be in the tax mess that we are today. Right now, our taxes are double what the average country in the Organization of Economic and Community Development countries. There's 80 countries. Our current taxes is 35%. The average is about 18%. So any new business that's trying to invest in the United States is already paying double the tax just to start their business. And so we need to reduce those taxes to encourage business here in this country.
Well, I think since 1913, when the tax code came into effect, we've seen a gradual increase in tax revenues up until after World War II, and we saw a dramatic increase. The problem with taxes is that you have to know how to implement them, you have to know when they're necessary, and you have to know when to reduce taxes. And that's one thing I think our government has never learned. You know, it's just like with our real estate taxes here in St. Louis County. When we had that downturn with the real estate market, we didn't know how to reduce the tax revenues for the homeowners. And that's something that scares people and do not want to raise taxes. And even though we all know there's tax increases that must be implemented from time to time, we must know how to implement those taxes. We must know when it's proper and when the right time. And if there's a time to reduce those taxes, we must stand firm and tall and say we're going to cut taxes anytime it's necessary and properly. So that's my take on the tax increases.